yes, this is the time for our English lesson. Like we do like we do every time. I welcome everybody. You are welcome to today's lesson. About me, yes. Welcome to English First Additional Language. Welcome to English First Additional Language for grade 8. I am J.K. Muyem, your teacher, your presenter. Let's get cracking. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Today's lesson. Today's lesson, yes. Today's lesson is about transactional text. So we are going to learn about the process writing of transactional text. Process writing is the steps that we should follow when we are writing different transactional texts. There are different transactional texts. I'm going to ask you about that a bit later in the lesson. So yes, process writing, we use it. It is the process that which we use to plan our writing, so that whatever we write, whether it's an essay or a diary entry, a formal letter, an informal letter, whatever transactional text that which you're gonna write, these are the process that which we use to plan our writing, so that we can write something that which is readable, understandable, and in the context of tests and exams, it will earn you good marks. So that's what this lesson is all about. We are going to go through the process writing of transactional text. Let's continue. So yes, here we are. The focus on process writing. Those are the 6 steps that which I'm going to break down in this lesson. The first step is planning. Second step is drafting. The third step is revision. The fourth step is editing. The fifth step is proofreading. And the last step is presenting. Let's get down to it. Let's get down to it. Okay, note, remember that before you write any transactional text, you read the instructions and you understand first what you want. That is the first step. That is the first step. So yes, remember, if you have a question or something to say, if you have a question, please use the chat and then we'll attend to it. So let's continue. Yes, remember, you, you read the instruction first so that you can understand what is the question requiring of you, what do they want from you. That is the first step of any transactional text before you write it. Okay, so yeah, if they say write an essay, don't just jump into writing it. Understand what the essay is all about. What do they want in the essay? What type of essay is it? And things like that. Is it a discursive essay where you discuss an idea? Is it a narrative essay where you talk about an idea which happened? Those things that which you think about before you start writing. I thought I highlight that first before we move on, before we continue. Okay. There's nothing in the chat, so it seems like everybody's happy up until now. I'm also happy. Let's continue. So the first step, which is step 1. I see John has raised the hand. Please write in the chat what is your concern or your question. So yes, let's continue. Step one. Step one is planning. I said planning one because there are two steps in planning. Okay, planning, the first part of planning. The first part of planning is that you identify the type of the transactional text that which you are writing. That's the first thing. You know, is it an informal letter? Is it a formal letter? Is it a postcard? Is it an essay? If it is an essay, what type of essay is it? You know, is it a narrative essay? Is it a discursive essay? You know, so those are the things that which you identify first before you plan. I mean, this is like building a house. You know, before you want to plan to build that house, you have to know what kind of a house is it. You know, you have to know whether is it gonna be a 3 bedroom house, is it gonna be a double story, you know, all those things. So yeah, even with the first planning, step one, planning one, you identify the type of transaction text that which you are required to write. You know, okay. You also choose the correct format based on that. Remember, the the format of an informal letter is not the same format as a formal letter. It is not the same format as an essay. It is not the same format as a postcard. So after you have first identified the type of transactional text, then you can then choose the correct format. Right? You can't write an informal letter using the format of a formal letter. You know, remember, an informal letter is that letter you write to a friend. You know, so you can't write to a friend like you are writing to a certain company, like you are applying for a bursary or something from a formal or something formal like that from a big company. Yes, remember what I said. If you have questions relevant to what we are doing, please use the chat and I'm going to attend to you. Let's continue. After choosing the correct format, you also choose the suitable language conventions. What does this mean? This means that for example, if you write an informal letter, you can use slang. You know, I mean, if you write an informal letter, you can use slang because why you are writing to your friend, you know, you can use slang, you can use what they call colloquial language, you know. Yeah, that is slang. You can use slang if you write an informal letter to your friend because your friend knows what that means, you know. Your friend knows what the slang words that you should use mean because you've been friends, you know how you communicate. But then if it is a formal letter, you can use slang, you know. You can use slang for that. It is unacceptable. No formal company will really take your letter seriously if you use slang. If you use slang. So yes, remember, okay, I see there's a question about transactional text. We are going into that. I'm gonna show you different transactional text. Right now, I'm just giving you the steps, and these steps they apply to all types of transactional writings. And in tomorrow's lesson, that's when we are going to go deeper in certain types of transactional text. Today, I'm just going through the overview of the steps you use when you write any of them, and I'm going to give examples of those texts. Stay with me. So yes, you use suitable language conversions. And John, can you write a slang essay? No, we can't write a slang essay. An essay is a formal writing, so you can't use a slang on it. Unless maybe if it is a narrative essay where you talk about what happened, but you will still have to define those languages that we should use. Remember, we use formal language. We do not use we use formal language, a respectable language. Okay, let's continue to step two. Remember, guys, the chat is open. So if you want to say something relevant to our lesson, to today's lesson, concerns, questions, you are welcome to use the chat, and I'm I'm going to attend to your query. Step two, planning part two. So in this step, you brainstorm ideas. Right? So the best way to do this is to use a mind map. You know, You remember what a mind map is, right? It is that box. It is this box. In that box, you put your writing your topic, and then that box has branches like a tree, where each and every branch has the main ideas, and also the main ideas have supporting ideas. The reason why the mind map is best when you brainstorm is because that is how your mind thinks. Your mind thinks in branches, R- r- Your mind thinks in branches. Like right now, if you're thinking about this lesson, you're thinking about transactional text. Then there is a branch for essay. There is a branch for formal letter. There is a branch for informal letter. Like that is how your mind thinks. Your mind thinks in branches, and all these ideas that are connected to each other. There is a relationship of all these ideas with each other. That's why we use a mind map, and we're gonna show you how to do that. So you identify the main ideas of your text. You know, what are the main ideas? What are those most important things? You identify them, and then you also come up with ideas which support your main ideas. Right? Right. So I hope everybody is okay for now. Let's continue. Can you use abbreviation in an informal letter? Yes, you can, because remember, informal letter is something you write to your friend. As long as your friend understands what those abbreviations mean, you can write LOL on your informal letter to your friend, as long as your friend knows what that means. All right. So, okay, do you write the main ideas in sentences or words? Here you just write words, because remember, we are still planning. Here we are still planning, so it's best to write your main ideas as words or short sentences, because here we are still planning. We have not started to write. Let's go to step 3, where we're gonna start to write. In step 3, that way we start to write, and step 3 is called drafting. Is Step 3, it is called drafting. Remember, guys, all these steps I'm talking about here, they cover all transactional text, whether it's an informal letter, whether it's an essay. Like, what these steps do is that they help you to put your thoughts in order, to see how your ideas link up to each other, so that when you write, you will write something which flows, and whoever reads what you're writing, they can really follow you as if like they are mind reading you. So that is the reason for this, to help, because you as the person who writes, you know what you want to say. So the biggest concern here is, well, the person you are writing to understand what you're trying to say. That is why we follow these steps, so that the people you are writing to, the teachers that will be marking your transactional text, your friend will be reading your informal letter, that CEO at that big company will be reading your formal letter, so they can understand what you are trying to say and respond appropriately. So step 3, yes, we use a mind map for planning. Remember, we are still planning, and we can, yes, I see everybody is asking about the mind maps. Yes, guys, we use the mind map for all the writing pieces. Remember, your brain thinks like that in branches, like a mind map. So a mind map, it will help you to know how to connect ideas. Do you know, sometimes when you write an essay or a transactional text, you have all these ideas, but you don't know how idea 1 links with idea 5. You don't know how idea 3 links with idea 7. So by doing a mind map, you'll be able to see all your ideas in one place and be able to connect them all together, that even when you write, they are all connected, they all support each other, and they are all consistent with what you are writing about. Okay, let's go to step 3 now. Let's go. Is this for marks? Sometimes they do give you marks for a mind map. So it will be included. It will show that you know what you're doing, and sorry, it will show that you know what you're doing and you did take time to plan what you are writing. So drafting. So when you draft, you put your ideas into writing. That's all, like you write. After you've planned, you see how your ideas link together. Now you write. You put your ideas into writing, and then after that, when you write, you pay attention to the logical progression of main ideas. Like, you after you're done writing, you read it. Does it make sense? Does it go logically? Is there logic in what you're saying? Is there order in what you're saying? Is there start, then you continue, then finish, like something like that. Is it like A, B, C, D up until Z, or is it A, J, B, Z, K, So this is the importance of drafting, where you put your ideas together in writing to see if they make sense, if they are aligned with what you're writing about. You also read about your supporting ideas. Like you ask yourself, do your supporting ideas support your main ideas? Remember, guys, step 2 is planning part 2. Don't worry about the steps. I'm going to review them again as summary at the end of the lesson. So step four is when you edit and you proofread. So you read what you wrote and you find out if it makes sense and if it communicates what you want to communicate. So when you edit and proofread, that is when you check your grammar. Is your grammar correct? Did you use the correct punctuation? Is there a comma where there should be a comma? Is there a full stop where there should be full stop? Those type of things. That is when you edit and you proofread. You check grammar, you check the spellings to what you've written. You read what you've written and ask if somebody else was reading it, will they understand it? And another thing you can do, okay, especially when it's not in the exam or a test, you can ask a friend or a peer, somebody next to you, to read what you wrote and find out if they can understand it. Unfortunately, this is something you can use in the exam. but then if it is a class assignment or something like that, then please ask somebody else to read what you wrote. Are we all good so far? Good. Okay, people. Yes, you can edit it for yourself. You can ask somebody else, but obviously it will be good to edit to yourself. But if you need help, you can ask for help. All right. Seems like we are all on the same page. Kiana, can you back to the previous slide? Okay, remember guys, let's ask questions. If there's something that you miss right now, don't worry, we're gonna go back to it in the summary. So let's continue. Step 5, you rewrite. You write every idea logically to ensure that the transactional text is concise and coherent. What does this mean? Remember the previous step. On the previous step, you were editing and proof reading, right? And then when you're done with that, you will have fixed every spelling error, you have fixed every grammatical error, you've been careful with your tenses, how you use your present tenses and your past tenses and things like that. So yes, in step 5, you are rewriting. So then you are rewriting from your draft and from after you've edited and proofreaded your text. The last step is presentation. Now you are ready to present. Now you are ready to present a well thought and a written out transactional text. So here it means this is the final thing. That's the final paper that which you are going to submit, because you are done writing. You will have done everything when you are in this step. Right? Right. If you have questions, this will be a good place to ask them. I myself also have a question. Let me attempt to questions quickly. Okay, so let's see. Alexandra, so for editing, do you have to have a separate draft? No, you don't have to have a separate draft. From the draft you already have, you edit it right then. You edit it right then, okay? So is it a must for rewriting or is it optional? To rewrite, like it will depend on after you've edited your text and 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 proofread it. So if it is still okay after that, then you don't have to rewrite. It should be fine. Right. So okay, this is my question. My question is, name the transactional text that you should know. Yeah, so name the transactional text that you should know. I'm gonna give you just a minute because there are many of them. So just a minute. Just use the chat to tell me of the transactional text that you should know. There are some that which I have mentioned in the lesson. Okay, let's see your answers. Alvin says film review, that's correct. Ronald says letter and a postcard, that's also correct. Huawei Wi-Fi essay, yes. Essay Lizzie, yes, you're correct. Email Nkanka, yes. Ntabiseng, email from the post office or to the post office, yes. That's a formal letter or informal letter. Birthday card, yes. A restaurant review, excellent. Alexander, an email. Alvin, restaurant review. Lizzie, letters. Enrico, planning. Essay, email, post office, posters, yes. Lizzie, yes. Secretary, essay, yes. Samuel, letter. Posters, instructions, yes. Lizzie, thank you. Thank you for your participation, guys. Alvin, dialogue. So let me share my answers with you. Remember, guys, this is a good time to ask your questions based on this. A book review, yes, yes, Tyler, you're right. Yes, Lizzie, pamphlets. Mariah Jet says first-person perspective. I don't understand what you mean by that. Please rephrase it as a question so I can help you. An email, yes, good, good. Remember, guys, use the chat to ask your questions. Monologue, yes. Flyers, yes. Use the chat to ask your questions. I promise you, every question I find here, I'm gonna attend to it. I have the chat open as we speak. Yes, writing diary, yes. So all those steps that which I've outlined in this lesson, you can use them all these transactional texts. So here are those transactional texts. Here they are: essay, an official, which is the formal letter, which you write for company CEOs, friendly or informal letter that which you write to your friend, the agenda of the meeting, the minutes of a meeting, a speech, an email, even an SMS, yes. Interview, report, curriculum vitae. You're still gonna need to write this later on as you grow, when you're gonna apply for bursaries and jobs and stuff like that. A diary entry, giving directions like we did in lesson 1. Advertisement, posters and flyers, obituary. Yes, I see Henrico also says facts. Yes, that's correct. Even though it's not there on mine, but effects is also one of the transactional texts. So yes, these 15 ones that which I've listed here, most of them you're gonna need to know, you're gonna need to write, because one way or the other, you're gonna meet them in tests, in exams, where you have to write a minutes, or you have to write a diary entry, you have to be an advertisement, write an obituary, write an essay, So yes. And on an obituary, Tabile, is that document the one that you get after you go to somebody's funeral, where they talk about their life, where they were born, how they died, and their accomplishments. Yeah, that is an obituary. Yeah. So yes, everything that you see here, all these 15 things and a few more I didn't include here. Yes, Lizzie, text messages are also one of them. Okay, Antonius asking, what's minutes and agenda? I've learned it before, but I've forgotten. Antonio, you need to go back to your textbooks. But minutes is that one that which they write about a meeting, like what happened in the meeting, So it's something that which you can give to somebody who was not in a meeting, but they are really interested to know what was happening in the meeting. So yes, let's continue. I'm about to wrap things up here. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for the wonderful questions that you are asking. Oh, guys, you're really making this to be so amazing. You're making me to enjoy this lesson. So let's continue. So let's go to the summary. Remember, these are the steps of process writing. Is planning, drafting, revision, editing, proofreading, and presenting. You remember that, right? Okay, let me go to the slide where I talk about it. Remember, the step 1 I said is planning, one, and this is what happens in planning. All right. Then, okay, let me run through them quickly before I close. Step 1, that's planning. You identify the type of transactional text, you choose the correct format for it, and you choose suitable language. Planning 2, you brainstorm your ideas, you identify the main ideas and the supporting ideas. Remember, it will be great to use a mind map for this one. Step 3, drafting, where you put your ideas into writing and you read if they make sense. Step 4 is editing and proofreading. That's when you read what you wrote and find out if it makes sense, if it's the way you want it. And you also ask a friend or a peer to read it for you and see if they could understand it. So step 5, that is rewriting. Yes, that's clear enough. No explanation for that. You rewrite based on after you've edited and proofread. Step 6 is presentation. That is when you have written the final thing that which you're going to submit to your teacher for assessment. In case of an informal letter, that's when you'll be sending it to the post office. Do you guys still do that? So yeah, okay. So yeah, all right. Thank you guys for such a wonderful lesson. So these are the helpful links. I don't have specific links for you, but these are the things that which you can get from any of your textbooks. You can go to your textbooks under the theme intent 2, and you can see the transactional texts which are there. And to prepare for tomorrow's lesson, coming up in the next lesson, which is, somebody says we're ending early. Okay, can you please go back to step 2? All right, everybody. Seems like everyone wants to go back to step 2. Okay, I'm gonna go back now. Seems like I still have 5 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, in tomorrow's lesson, you are going to write an instruction text using process writing method. So today I was just presenting the method. So tomorrow you are going to use it. We are going to use it, and I believe that it will be more meaningful tomorrow when we use it. It will be more meaningful when you use it tomorrow, when you get to understand how those steps we use them. All right. Okay, it seems like everybody wants me to go to step 2. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you. That's fun. It's been fun. I've enjoyed this lesson. Okay, seems like I have 12 minutes left. So I think I can use this time to go back to the steps. So many of you, they want to go to step 2, but I think it will be justice to start from step 1 first. Remember this. Okay, guys, I got you covered. We still have 12 more minutes. So I will go through all the steps again. That's step 1, which is planning. That is where you identify the type of transactional text. You remember that, right? Then you choose the correct format, and you also choose the suitable language conventions. Remember, the language you use will depend on the type of the transactional text you use. If you write an informal letter, you cannot use formal words. Remember, an informal letter is the one that which you write to your friend. Right, so you can write to your friend as if you are writing to the president. So to your friend, it's gonna be live. So yeah, don't worry guys, you still have 10 minutes. So yeah, so I'm gonna use this time to answer your questions. Please write in the chat. I've seen that most of you are saying that I should go back to step 2, but I think it will be justice to start from step 1, so you can connect step 1 with step 2 again. So it seems like everybody's good with step 1, so I won't dwell on it. There is step 1. Step 1, which is planning, which is the second part of planning. This is when you brainstorm ideas, and like I said, that it would be good to preferably use a mind map for this one. Yes, in that mind map, you will identify the main ideas and establish supporting ideas. You can think of a mind map like a tree, So the topic that we are writing about, think of it as like a bark of the tree or the trunk of the tree. Then your main ideas will be the branches of the tree, and your supporting ideas will be the leaves and the fruits of the tree. Right. Okay, Mariah is asking, is brainstorm and mind map the same thing? No. we use a mind map to brainstorm. You get me? You can brainstorm without a mind map. It's okay. If that's something that you should prefer to brainstorm without a mind map, but you brainstorm by writing a list of your ideas, it's okay. If that works for you, it's okay. You know, yeah. If that works for you, it's okay. You can use a list. So like it is okay. Why must you plan? Remember, if you plan anything that you do after planning for it, it goes bare. It goes well. I mean, if now you can just go to the shop to buy groceries, but then you didn't write a shopping list, chances are you will come back having forgotten one or two essential things, right? So this is why we plan here. We plan so that we will have everything we need, so that by the time you are done writing, you don't imagine then how is it going to be for you after you are done writing. You remember that there is this wonderful idea that you forgot. That won't be great. That's how you plan. So when you plan, that's when you put all your ideas together, and how you can and how you can use them. Right? Yes, you can plan using a mind map. You can, but if you want, you can just write a list of your ideas. So it's okay. So that's step two, plan two. You brainstorm your ideas. You can use a list if you want. You can use a mind map if you want. It's okay. Do you have homework for today? Not really homework, but I would like you to do something which will help you to prepare for tomorrow's lesson. Step three, that's drafting, where you put your ideas into writing and you pay attention to the logical progression of the main ideas. Seems like everybody is okay with step three, so let's continue. Is it a must for us to brainstorm and to make a mind map? It is not a must, but it is good to do it. It will help you to put your ideas in order so that you do not leave anything behind that which you need to write about. That's why I made that example of grocery shopping. Step four, you edit and you proofread. You read what you wrote from your draft, right? And you find out if it makes sense and if it communicates what you want to communicate. It is at this time where you fix every error that you might have. You fix the grammatical errors, you fix the spelling errors, you fix the punctuation errors, punctuation marks. Okay, I'm being asked, must you make a draft? It will be good to make a draft if it is a homework. But in the context of a text or exam, you can make a draft. But you just need to, you can skip the draft step. You you just write after you've done your planning, you write your transactional text. But after you've written it, you have to come back and see if you've written it correctly. If you've written it in a way that which it will be good. No? Yes. Okay, another question about drafts. Wow. Okay, let me go to drafts. Seems like most questions are on this. When you make mistakes, do you still have to do a final draft or make a first draft, a final draft? If you do a mistake on your, okay, fine. Let's assume that you are writing this on a paper, right? So after you have made the draft, you're going to correct your mistakes, your grammatical errors, and that. After that, it will be good to start from a new page. I think after having corrected those errors. Yes, this will be on YouTube. So yeah, it will be good to really do that. Okay, to submit. No, this is not just for learning. This is something you're gonna need to use in your test in exams. They will ask you to write a transactional text. I don't know which transactional text you are going to write, but rest assured that you will get questions about writing any of those transactional texts I showed you. Yes, step four, you edit what you've written, right? And in the okay, can you hear me, guys? Please say hi on the chat. Can you hear me so I can continue? So editing and proofreading, you ask a friend or peer to read for you. Can you guys hear me? Class, can you hear me? Remember, I am done. The lesson is done. I'm just using the remaining minutes to recap everything for everybody because there were different questions. Some were asking questions about step 2, some about step 5. So it is a good idea to go through everything again, for the benefit of everybody. Step 5, rewriting. You write every idea logically to ensure that your text is concise. Okay, they say I'm quick. Let me slow down. So yes, step 5 now. Everybody says I'm breaking up. Can you guys hear me? Can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me? I'm breaking up. Sorry guys. Can you all type hi? So step 5, you rewrite. Then step 6, that is when you present. That is when you are done writing. So yes, this is the end of that process writing. Okay, Antonio, thank you. They said now you can hear me. Fano, thank you. Nezo, yes, thank you. So yeah, let's go back to the slide of the summary. These are the steps that which we went through today. These are the steps that which we went through today. These are the steps that which we went through in today's lesson. So yes, I think I'm left with 5 minutes now. And please, you can use this to ask questions because this is the end of the lesson. Yes, this is the summary. So yeah, I remember what I said that, okay, there's a question there. What is proofreading? Tato, proofreading is when you read what you've written as you read with the intent of fixing any mistake. Now, lady, I see you raised your hand, but please write your concern or your question in the chat and I will attend to it. So yes, Tato, to proofread is to read what you've written with the intention of fixing any mistake on it, like punctuation, grammar, spelling, typical letters, and things like that. So yes, everybody who's raised your hand, please use the chat to communicate and I will attend to you. My chat is open, so I can communicate and attend to your query. Ronald says, I don't want it to end. I feel the same way, but don't worry, we are continuing again tomorrow, same time, same place. Yes, and remember, say, does not that mean no slang? Slang where? Please, Azania, I don't understand your question when you say slang. Remember, you only use slang in informal letters. That's where you use slang. Everywhere else, you don't use slang. Okay, Naledi, is it possible to write mind map by bullet points? Okay, if you use bullet points, it's not a mind map, but still, yes, you can do that. Because remember, it is just a tool to help you to put your things together. Okay, guys, I'm only left with a minute. So Yes, class is on Monday to Friday. The difference between proofreading and editing, there is no difference. They just go together. You know, when you proofread, you read so that you can edit, so that you can change, right? So no, remember, guys, the reason why you don't use slang is because slang is different. You know, your
Mr. Muing, it seems the audio is completely cut out at this particular stage. If you can just show the last slide and then we can end the meeting.